Welcome back to another episode of Off the Sidelines, the podcast for aspiring entrepreneurs and action takers ready to stop overthinking and start building wealth. I'm your host, Thomas Collins, and today's episode is all about stepping into financial freedom through real estate and intentional investing. Joining me today is Wendell Catlett. He's the founder of Defining Financial and a powerhouse when it comes to coaching others toward financial independence. Wendell's built his life around helping people get their money working for them. So if you ever felt stuck or unsure about how to start investing, this episode is for you. Wendell, thanks for joining me. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Thanks for inviting me. You gave me an amazing intro. I didn't know I was all that, man.
Yeah, all that and more, of course.
Yeah.
I want to start off with a little icebreaker just so that people would get to know a little bit about you. Just Wendell, if you had to make $500 in the next 24 hours, but you couldn't use your current business, what would you do?
I would do something on social media. It got to be social media. Something on social media would be something that's going to be an easy product to sell, a one-time only product to sell and I would just increase the value of that product so much that somebody got to find $500, got to spend $500 on it. I don't know what that product would be, but it would be a product that I would sell on social media.
You find a product you know how to sell. I'm sure you get that sold real easy.
Oh, for sure. That was a quick hitter, man. I wasn't ready for that.
All right, so tell us about your path to becoming the owner of Defining Financial. What got you started?
All right, so Defining Financial, man. Defining Financial is actually a financial advisor company. I'm a financial advisor, but I'm kind of scaling back on that because a financial advisor is actually a title that you got to be licensed under FINRA. Some of the things, the way that I coach and teach, FINRA is not complying with FINRA. So now I'm just going to move to the title of financial coach, which I don't really like the coach word because it's trending, but I guess until I find a better word, that's what it's going to be. So financial coach. My path to that, man, was really because I was super successful in real estate. I had a successful career in real estate. Still do real estate. But specifically, I was doing real estate as a realtor, and not just my investments. So as a realtor, I made a lot of money. As a realtor. And then 3 years ago, the IRS let me understand that when you make a lot of money, you got to start paying. You got to pay Uncle Sam, right?
Uncle Sam wants his cut.
Right. So they called him Uncle Sam, but he's really not family members, right? He's not my real uncle. He's Uncle Sam, but not my real uncle. It was obvious, man. Uncle Sam stole my money. Well, not stole. He took my money from me, and what I did, I wanted to be able to study, figure out ways to be more tax savvy. Understand taxes a lot better. And by doing so, I'm not an accountant. So a lot of people hear me say that and they think that I'm an accountant. I'm not. I was just trying to figure out ways to put my money in investments that could be like tax-free, tax-deferred, and those type of things. And once I started studying that, I got licenses, and then I started to realize, hey, man, I got this information. I want to be able to provide it. I always go by the saying, which whom much is given, much is required. So once I'm given this knowledge, I'm required to spread this knowledge. So once I started acquiring licenses, I said that I wanted to, be not just sell it, but I want to start teaching it. So I built instead of me just, my previous business is the Catlett team or Catlett Enterprises, which was all about real estate, Catlett Property Solutions. But now I said, I'm going to put everything under one umbrella, and I wanted to make it a financial business and educate people. So I started Defining Financial, and that's my path, man. That's really how I got there,
Okay. All right. So what was that moment that pushed you to take action and build your own financial freedom? I know you started off as a firefighter, transitioned into building your own empire. But what was that moment that made you take action?
It's a few ways I can think about a moment. I'm always getting moments. Aha moment, and this is what's going to make me change. But I can tell you over the path of my life, path of my professional career, starting when the first moment when I started to become successful in real estate, I started to realize that money was unlimited, or I want to just say money, but success was unlimited, and being in that job that I was limited. A certain amount that job allowed, right? Like you can only
salary cap.
It's only a top number that job can give you, right? So the fire chief of the fire department, he's the highest ranking official with his max amount of time. That's how much he's going to get. And that's it, right? And so I started to realize. So I met a real estate broker, and he made a lot of money, and he was coming from the city where he graduated from one of the schools in the city that I grew up in, Washington, D.C. And the money that he made was like ridiculous, you know? And so a lot of times I keep saying money, I'm going to say it, but I'm using it as a mass frame of success because a lot of times people view that as success, right? And so I seen him, seen the money he made, and I seen his lifestyle he made, and I'm like, wow, there's nowhere near close of what I could do in this job. So then I started seeing my money grow, and I started seeing the life around me start becoming successful. So I left. That was probably the most impactful thing for me to let me know that I can do it outside of the traditional 9 to 5, the rat race. You know, I can do it outside of that. So if you say define the moment, I would stick with that as opposed to I have a lot of defining moments, but I think that was the first one, you know, to make me realize that I could do it. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of had to see it first before you could believe it, though, right? Like you got to see somebody that looked like you that's doing this, you know. So
yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I didn't know until I seen it. You know, you know, the inner city is, you know, the cliche inner city child, man. You know, all I knew was just the inner city workings, you know. But once I seen something bigger, man, it exposed me, man. So that's again for me. You know, internally, once I got exposed, man, I'm like, I got to bring this back to my people. Like
that exposure, you can never take it back. Once you get it,
that's it. Right. But I wanted to expose my friends, my families, and just people that's like me that never knew that you could do it. You know, so like with it, like I said, it was the Robin Hood. I said Peter Pan, but Robin Hood, the Robin Hood effect. Like, okay, the rich got that. I want to steal from the rich and give it to the poor. And that's always like been the type of person I've been, you know, and that's what continuously drives me, man. That more than anything. I want to learn, consume, and I want to educate other people.
Good. Nice. Yeah. So how did your first investment deal change your mindset about money?
So
I know you had a lot of good ones.
Yeah, man. I'm thinking of my first investment, you know, and I got it in my head that things are simple. Certain things are simple. It's really simple to be successful, but it's going to take a lot of work, right? And Will Smith said on one of his things that I think I told you about this the other day, Tom, is that he said 90% complete, and the other guy was like, "Good, you halfway there. You halfway there, right?
You ain't done yet.
Nowhere near done. 90% is nowhere near 100%. So it's a lot more. It takes a lot of work. My first investment deal was my neighbor attached to me, so I got a townhome, and my neighbor was attached to me. My first house. His attached to me. He actually sold his house to the guy who I was telling you who reminded me of like there's something bigger than a 9 to 5 job. So he actually sold his house to him, right? And I made it a wholesale amount money from that, right? So I made a good percentage of money, and I did nothing.
You got under contract and
and I introduced him, and that was it. And I got a significant amount of money. I'm like, man, it was that easy, right? So, you know, in my head, I'm like, real estate is simple, right? It's easy. And it is. It truly is simple. But the thing is, I didn't realize the work that it takes. It was a simple thing, and it's still simple, but it takes a lot of game planning and strategy and systems. And more than anything, if you don't have any of that stuff, the most important thing is consistency, right? You need to be consistent over anything. Yeah. Consistency. You know, I don't care how bad your product is or how bad your systems are and all that. But if you consistently doing something in that business, you're gonna see a major impact, major change, major. If you're consistently doing something bad, you're gonna see something majorly bad. If you consistently, exactly, you're gonna definitely see something moving forward. You know, you won't see a major change. When you take that, when you take that away from you, then you fail. So I'll get back to your question. My first investment, I don't know what your question was. I know you're saying what happened in my first investment, something like that. That's what happened. I learned that simplicity does not equal easy. It does not equal easy. Yeah, I can get long-winded. So you know that.
It's all right. So I know you're talking about systems and being consistent. What were some of the early challenges that you had, and how did you push through them?
One of my earliest challenges, and it still, I don't want to say still affects me today, but I'm still building out of it. My earliest challenge was instant success, right? Like we just talked about how fast I made the money off of that investment. My entire early career was that. Right, it was always.
So every deal was going to be easy, huh?
Yeah, and another thing, but the thing is, Tom, is majority of my first. I've been doing it like 12 years now. Like my first 7 years, that's pretty much what it was. Everything was
Oh,
boom,
wow.
boom, boom, boom. And I kept growing and kept growing and kept growing. And it just kept happening fast, fast, fast. But I think that was the biggest hurdle because once it stopped, I had no foundation at all. I'm just so used to being the super guy. Everything's going right for me when it came to business, man. But I had no foundation in place. Like year 7, year 8, just fell off. Like, okay, all that talent that you had is not enough. So you got to scale back. I always knew about systems and I always knew about, and I always did it, right? I always had that in place in my business. But the problem is I did a lot of outsourcing, a lot of delegating, and things wasn't working correctly. You got to start scaling back. You got to start delegating costs, outsourcing costs. So now you got to start scaling back. And we start scaling back, guess we got to still maintain these systems and those things in place. That's me, right?
Everything back on you. Yeah, you got to do all the work.
Back on me. Imagine you never had to put so much effort into those systems and trying to do those things again. I had to refocus and learn systems from the beginning and build them out. So now when I hire people now and the delegate now, I understand the systems thoroughly through and through. That was my biggest hurdle. My biggest hurdle was just being early success. Life was easy.
You said you had the early success and you were doing great for a stretch of 7 years in a row, and then you had the downturn. So what did you learn? You said you didn't have the foundation. So what are you doing differently now to prevent, that from happening again?
Absolutely. So the different thing now is that there's no shortcuts for me. I'm learning. I pulled out of the year 7, year 8, I got kind of everything fell off. Maybe year 9 and year 10 is when I've been rebuilding, right? Like I was laying the foundation. So that's what I was doing. Laying the foundation, year 9, year 10, laying the foundation. So the last 2 years just has been about executing, what I've already laid down. What I want to say is laying the foundation, kind of what I've taught. Like instead of, because when you cut corners, you miss steps. So let me do step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instead of 1 to 4. Let's go 2 or 3. I'm missing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm doing all of these steps and making sure that they're correct and make sure they're aligned. So going forward, when I pass this book on to someone else, we making sure that everything is touched and I won't miss that, So now I have the foundation. Now I'm just reestablishing everything now,
Yeah, laying the foundation, having a playbook for going forward. That's a great way to start.
Sure.
Break down one deal that you're especially proud of and what made it work for you.
Man, I'm a type of person, when you say that, I'm not a proud person. I'm not a proud person. And, a lot of times people hear things, people like this, and they say I'm phony. But for me, I can't really look at myself and be like, oh, I'm so proud of myself, because I believe that comes from a higher source, a higher power. So I can't be proud. But one of the most things that I can say that made me proud was obviously is me doing something for someone else. For the sake of what you're saying about a deal, I'm so proud of this room sharing thing. I talk to you about that a lot of times. That's what I do. I'll be honest with you, that became my baby now. That's like I am an advocate for that.
Can you break that down real quickly? What do you mean by how you do
it? Exactly. That's exactly what I was getting to. Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting to. Right. So the room sharing thing is finding a home, a single family home, or detached town home, whatever you want to call it. And each individual room, I make the entire house a co-living house, and I rent out each individual room. I'm so proud of that more than anything. And I'll break down some more of it. More than the flips that I've done, more than just buying a property, putting one person in there. I make a significant amount more than I would with just putting one tenant in. If I got a 4-bedroom house, I'm renting it out based off the market, whatever the number is the other rooms are going for in the market, just like you would do a regular house. And I would just say, I would give a number just for suggestion. Just for number's sake, I would say like $800 to $900 a room. So we say $800 a room. Wow. $800 a room times 4, and that'll be, $3,200, right? That's for the rooms. But I always look for one with a basement. So we got 4 bedrooms in the basement, and then the basement with that'll be a separate cost, a minimum like $1,200 itself. So you're thinking each room $800, so 8 times 4 is 32, so $3,200 plus the basement another 12, so you're making $4,400 a month. Yeah. And then that's with a 4-bedroom and 1 basement. I'm so proud of that because.
What market are you doing that in?
I'm in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Well, I'm not in Virginia, can be in Virginia, but DC and Maryland predominantly for me. And all of my clients and all of my friends, they're doing it. That's what I'm so proud of, man. Actually, I'm not. Hold on, let me finish that. I'm proud of it because you think if I'm making $4,400 a month in one house, and let's say the average mortgage now probably $2,000, right? Something like that. Let's say $2,200. So now each one of my friends are profiting, including myself, $2,000 a house. Most people, my mentor was telling me he was comfortable with $500. I'm talking about $2,000 a month profit. I got a girl that's under contract right now. Third one, she's about to buy her fourth one right after this. She's like instantly looking right now for a fourth one. So you imagine she got four of them, $2,000 a month. That's $8,000 a month, man, that she's making. That is over $100,000 a year that she's making in real estate. I mean, just properties alone that she's on the 4 properties. So I'm super proud of that, man. And a lot of times in the past, people have they don't like room sharing and whatever, but I'm an advocate for it because I got the systems. So what I was going to say is that I'm actually starting now a coaching program for that, right? Coaching, kind of coaching. It's not really gonna be coaching. What do you call it? I'm creating a course for that. That's what I want to say.
Okay.
Room sharing course for that. I'm actually working on that now. One of my friends encouraged me. I've been having that encouraged for a couple of years, but now I'm going to do it now. And then also, I'm going to actually create a property management company as well that's going to be able to handle that for people, just finding people.
Nice.
Say, you want to work it? Yeah. So I'm going, that's what I'm most proud of right now, more than anything. I done did flips. I done bought properties. I done sold a lot of homes to people, but I'm mostly proud of the room sharing.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's something you learn, you implement it, and then you taught others like how to do it. That's what it's all about. What's the worst financial advice that you hear too often?
Oh, that you hear too often. Yeah. I was going to say, before that you hear too often, first thing I was going to say, the worst financial thing that you could do is over leverage, right? Over leverage. I'm telling you from experience, that's what I did. So it's everything. And you over leverage, you fall off balance. Just put it like that, man. But the worst financial advice that you could hear from someone else, man, that's a good one, Tommy, because you think the advice is just the first question, it's the outer shell. I think all those advice can come from a lot of times a good place, but it just doesn't always have what's behind that advice. So like if a person say invest in Bitcoin, right? To me, I'm not investing in Bitcoin, but there's so many people that's successful in it, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know it. So somebody said, you need to put all your money in Bitcoin, and I do it, and I lose all my money, which I've seen people do, then I think that's bad. You would think that's bad advice, but there's also success stories. But I think that most of the advice is coming from a good place, and you just got to get the content to it. I would think that.
What's one underrated income stream you think more people should explore? I know you talked about the rooming house. Is there anything else? Or
first thing I would say is real estate. That's what people need to really do, is because not just because I got a background, or maybe that is my bias because I have a background in real estate, but I know that real estate is consistent, and it may not be the biggest growth, but it's something that's going to be there. But I think the most underrated advice would be to put your money into a high yielding account. Right, high yielding bank account, life insurance will be one. You get your life insurance policy, put your money into a high yielding savings in the life insurance policy. But I just think just having money sitting your savings account in your regular savings account, you're not growing any money. You just like 0.001%. That's what my Capital One says in my savings. 0.001 is not growing nothing. But if you put it in your losing money, exactly. What happens is
inflation and everything.
Exactly, perfect. Inflation. That's what I tell people all the time. Inflation makes that money, like the prices of eggs today is $10, in another 5 years it may be $15. So that same $100 that you put in the account last year, it won't be the same next year. So you need money something that's going to give you a higher percentage on your return. So any savings that you have, I would say that's the most underrated. You need to put that into an investment, at minimum a high yielding account, or invest it in something else.
Absolutely. Yeah. What's one small action someone can take today to move forward towards financial freedom?
Call me. That's be the first action. Give me a call, man, and I'll advise you. And that's me humbly speaking, not really just. I'm always
not about coach. You'll coach him.
I'm gonna coach him. Yeah, not even about coaching, but I'm truthfully saying that. All right, there you go. The number one thing I would say is talk to someone that with experience. Meet with someone that's experienced and learn from them. I think that we read all this stuff and see all this on social media, but a lot of times social media and even books that we read don't tell you the true hurdles or the live time or the real time things that's happening that can affect you in a negative way. So I think that you need to follow someone and study them,
find somebody who's doing what you want to do and just implement what they're doing. You know,
Absolutely.
a lot of that stuff is in books right now, but you got to take the action from what you're reading.
Yeah, for sure. So the books got an agenda, man. You know, a lot of times, man, you read those books, it's like they want to be. And this, I love books. I'm literally reading a book right now. I'll tell you right now, I'm about to pull it up 1 second since we talk about books. I'm reading Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion. I was just reading it before we pulled up, all right? Before I got on the podcast. So I'm reading books, but these books, even including that book, is trying to prove to me that they're right over and over and over. Everything I'm saying in this book is right. You know, I got it. You more than likely are right? But the thing is, if you talk to someone that's not trying to sell you, what this book is still trying to do, you want to say this book sold over 5 million copies. So it's trying to sell you essentially, right? So if you talk to someone who you can really have a conversation with and not just trying to sell you, just trying to really provide you information, it's going to be completely different and more valuable than what the book going to give you, you know? And that's the same thing with social media. Social media, people trying to sell who they are, how great they are, and how much they know. Yes, when you sit down with that individual, because I know, I do it as a social media person. Oh, I did this amazing stuff. When you sit down with me, I'm like, man, I got these issues, I got them issues, you know, break down my real problems, and that's going to really help you more than just...
people want to know the real stuff, the authentic story. That's what people want to hear.
Yeah.
So are there any tools, apps, or books that you recommend to people starting their financial journey?
Apps first, or tools, I would say first thing, find a budgeting app. I use Monarch. Okay. They got a couple other ones out there. You just Google it, figure out which one is best for you, because they got ones that's best for different type of people. I would definitely say budgeting first. Secondly, you need to find out what you're interested in. You know, whatever you're interested in, let's say real estate. For me, the first book that I looked into, Keller Williams book. So Keller Williams, what's his name? Gary Keller, the millionaire real estate agent. And that right there is like the Bible for real estate, right? As a realtor, I would say whatever lane that you in, find the Bible of that lane, study that. But then also one of the best books that I've read, the E-Myth, right?
The
entrepreneurial myth. That's what the E stands for, the entrepreneurial myth. So it's about entrepreneurs, and it talks about what type of it's three parts of the entrepreneur and how you merge all three of those together. I don't really want to get too deep into what it is, you know, but I think the E-Myth, I would say the entrepreneurial myth is the book that I think that anyone should read. It's really easy. It's a story form book. It's an easy book, but it's also taught me a lot, you know, and it was introduced to me by somebody who said it taught them a lot. I think that would be the first. First would be the E-Myth, and then also conjoin with a book that is the Bible of your field.
So what does getting off the sidelines mean to you?
First thing I heard was he was talking about you know, just watching from the view and really wanting to like dive into it. I think all of us on the sideline just watching, man. All you got to do is just practice. I'm thinking of the sports part. You practice, and then you got to display what you know, what you've learned through practice. One guy told me he's a financial guy, pretty much the same exact lane that I'm in and building, but he's on a higher level than me. Anthony O'Neill, I was talking to him, look him up on social media, you know, like I'm pitching him. But anyway, Anthony O'Neill said that I was saying, man, you and I in the same space. This is a one-on-one conversation. We're talking. And I'm like, you and I in the same space, man. And I said, you know, I love your business. I love how you do it. Like, tell me something that you did to be successful. He said, what I did was found my lane. Just like I said, you practice and practice and practice. And when he found his lane, he grabbed the microphone and screamed in it. Look what I got. Look what I got. And kept screaming and kept screaming. I think that's exactly what it is. You need to understand what you're doing while you're on the sideline, practicing. And once you get it, you need to stand up and raise your hand and scream. I'm ready to get in the game, coach. You get what I'm saying? Get me in the game. You know,
I've been practicing. Now I gotta show you what I've been working on.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting off the sideline means to me. I've been off the sideline before, man. I put myself back on the sideline, but now it's time for me to get back off of it.
So what's one money mistake that you'll never make again?
Again, over leveraging. I won't do that no more. I won't over leverage no more. I think that I was over. My friends was calling me the delegate king, right? They said you the delegating king, because that's what I did, delegate to everything. I won't do that no more. I would strategically delegate now. Opposed to like, man, I don't feel like it. Let me find somebody to do it. Now it's more like, let me make sure that exactly. Let me make sure that I don't have time for it. For me, that's about staffing, but also over leveraging in businesses. So more like time, too much time for you. I mean, you utilizing your time in too much different stuff. So make sure that's aligned. finish one thing to go to the next thing, or finish how much your capacity can hold at one time, and then go to the next capacity. But then also like investing, over leveraging your money in different places where it shouldn't be. Over leveraging is something I will not do again. That's going to be a strategic approach from now on.
All right, so where can our listeners connect with you, follow your journey, or work with you?
Yeah, man. So you can go to social media. That's the biggest platform for everything now. On Instagram, the Wendell Effect. WENDELLEFFECT. The Wendell Effect. Then you also find me anywhere else, Wendell Catlett. So on any other social media. Yeah. And then also follow me on my podcast on YouTube called Leverage Your Life. Thomas is going to be on there pretty soon. So Leverage Your Life is pretty much the same exact thing that Thomas is doing, just a little different. It's about people that's leveraging their life to level up in life. And we have fun on there. And then also you can just hit me up or go to my website, definingfinancial.com. I'm here for you.
Wendell, thank you for joining me on the podcast. Everybody, Wendell just dropped some gems. If today's episode gave you clarity, motivation, or just an extra nudge to take action, go ahead, do something with it. Make sure you subscribe, drop a like in the comments. And again, thank you, Wendell. Any last words for the people? You got anything else you want to say?
Have a successful 2025. Make it a big year for you. Don't listen, wake up and just do it. Like Nike's, just do it.
Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot. Until next time, take action today, y'all. Your future is waiting. Wendell, I appreciate it.
All right, man. Thanks, Tom.
All right.